Originally, this was going to be a software review of the new Buildbox 3, and whilst I think it's important to look at the pros and cons of your engines of choice, the Buildbox audience most likely wouldn't fit into the indie game dev universe, for reasons other than technical. Let's start off with the software is great, and you can quote me on that. I've played around with it for a few days. Usually this isn't enough time to form an opinion, but by design, Buildbox is supposed to be easy to use. In comparison to their last installment, Buildbox 3 fixed my elephant in the room issues, which primarily related to the freedom of game mechanics. Their design hasn't changed, the layouts and navigation are easy to understand, and they have a perfect interactive tutorial, and frankly, if you are a beginner who just wants to publish something, Buildbox is probably right for you. You see, my last video on Buildbox was absurdly negative, but it's coming from someone who is used to working with Unity, and comparisons between the two are very hard to create. They are both labelled under game engines, but behave so differently one would question their relatability. Hence why I believe the Buildbox audience wouldn't fit into the indie game dev universe. So Trey, if you see this video, there is no ill to your company. Your software and its changes are unlikely to ever be usable by aspiring indies. Unfortunately, the software has appeal. Since gaming's conception, the process is becoming easier and easier to create games. Companies and individuals are no longer limited by technical knowledge, instead introduced to the medium through software or engines designed to speed up the process by eliminating areas that are either tedious or repetitive. This is useful for development of any kind, and don't get me wrong, the entire point of computing is to make life slightly easier. Unfortunately, this has spread to eliminating the crucial information or the crucial functions that allow a game to run, which in turn makes developers enter with an ignorant attitude to anything under the hood. Buildbox 3, once again by design, is in that area where the features, although available, give no insight into why or how the game works. Basically, Buildbox is like giving a person cake mix and telling them to make a cake. Their cakes will be extremely similar to other people making cakes, and their knowledge of the cake building process will be very little. Engines like Unity or Unreal are like giving a person a variety of ingredients and telling them to make a cake. Their cakes will never come out the same way, but the knowledge of their creation is going to be pretty decent. Finally, engine-less devs are like throwing a person into a farm without an oven or any cooking appliances and telling them to make a cake. Their creation may not even be a cake, but their knowledge of its conception will be extremely extensive. In summary, game dev is starting to split hairs into game developers and game creators, where Unity provides the toolset for developing games. Through limitations, you are encouraged to create editor extensions or, God forbid, downloading templates on the asset store. Buildbox is giving strength to such a specific niche which they call hyper-casual games, and this does have a huge market, which is why the software may feel appealing. Let's take a look at some of the games on the website's showcase. Now remember, these are allegedly hand-picked as some of their favourites, so we'll just take a few at random, and the first one that caught my eye was 3D Bump Ball. This was clearly made from the Space Buggy template. Switchable 3D made from the Switch template, Sea Survivor Monster Jump made from the Buildbox 2 Flappy, I believe, Skyflow is made from Space Shooter, TY Bounce Casual 3D game is made from Trap, and you can check out their showcase section, and the majority are derivatives of the starter templates. My only speculation towards this is whether or not they actually made it from a template. I'd be willing to put money on that. You see, my point isn't to sabotage the software at all. In fact, replicating a Buildbox game in Unity would probably take me a couple of hours in comparison to the 5 minutes it would take on Buildbox. In saying that, for a Buildbox expert to replicate something I make in Unity may not even be possible. If there are any Buildbox users out there that would like to accept this challenge, I would be more than happy to participate, but do note that my game selection would likely be something I know to be impossible. However, if you bedazzle me with an accurate replication in the same time span or less, I would be more than happy to withdraw the majority of this. To conclude, my philosophy on the topic of Buildbox is unlikely to change. I won't be using the software for any of my publishable projects. The price is way too high for indies, but the software has a place. And to be honest, it's perfect for its place. Thanks for sending me a license key. I had a lot of fun playing with it, and viewers, it's only my opinion and I hope it gave you some insight.